Welcome back, Leo. Let's see what's coming up for your star sign. Welcome back, guys. We're here to do your update for your zodiac sign. And yes, we're going to, as usual, look at the 5 areas first that are coming up astrologically to be aware of and how it directly will impact you. We will further into this update, be it you're watching this via YouTube or another platform, we will go into your romance, your career, your wellness, your wealth, and any tips I feel can aid you during our transits this month. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover astrology. I use holistic approaches also at a very separate level if they're there to aid us through the transits. Now, the big 5 things that we do need to know is we do have the full moon in Capricorn on the 3rd of July, the new moon in Cancer on the 17th of July, Venus in Leo moves retrograde, and we will feel that by mid-month. Also, the North Node will shift signs into Aries for the North Node and Libra for the South, and Chiron in Aries moves retrograde. Now, I would particularly say with this full moon in Capricorn, for your zodiac, number 1 is it can feel like hierarchy. It can feel very traditional. Pluto currently is retrograde. So this can be quite a heavy energy. Some of the aspects are actually quite tense during the time, which we can quickly look to. Number 1, I would say, especially with knowing how to go forward at this point, there can be emotions involved, and you can feel almost that your emotions, you could be second guessing yourself. You may feel your intuition, and your logic can be your conditioning that is making you feel okay. We could feel like victims, let's put it that way. The moon in opposition to Mercury also could make you feel okay. From an emotional point of view, it can be reactive. Do I need to do something? But also from a spiritual point of view, I would always, during these moons, especially this year, give it 3 days either side. Full moons generally are wrapping up points. Again, with Pluto at the moment in retrograde, it's going to feel quite deep. So we can have some added frustrations there. For your zodiac sign, this does link to your 6th house. And very commonly, what we can have is old patterns, old routines. We can link the 6th house to health and well-being, things that were hidden that come to the surface. And it can be that you're wrapping a situation up. You may actually find a healthier routine. You may also realize, because the 6th house can be the house of our personal undoing, old habits dying hard. It's like, what can I do? Did I believe I had to be something for somebody else? And so I would refer back to the place of self and spiritually say, okay, is this part of my conditioning, or is it something that I'm believing I have to be for somebody, for something? Now, it can be where you are deciding to maybe get a new pet. Some of you could be deciding that it could be a pet that's transitioning over for some of you, but you're having a new chapter from an emotional point of view. I also feel some plans, especially in 2 areas for you, I do particularly feel are quite key this month. If you were thinking about moving home, I would potentially feel that as we do move to the nodal shift, that subject can be a bit more lighter for your energy. It has been there in the South Node. So anything to do with family and home and tribe, if it has been a bit of a conundrum for you and it's kind of been put on the back burner, it's going to come to the forefront now. So some of those goals really can be reset in that location. Again, with the frequency of it, new routines, new ways of dealing with it, becoming structured, realizing that you're capable. What are you doing for others that you should be doing for yourself? It can be a redirection. Have some patience during that time, and behavioral patterns also from a spiritual point of view can come up. This also can link to hierarchy, be it as a boss, be it's your routine, what you're trying to manage. All of those things can come to a head. Now, we also do have the new moon in Cancer. And for some reason, I really do spiritually feel, probably because you are almost like the ascendant. It's like Leo, the 12th house for you is Cancer. There is a new comprehension, a new beginning you're having, and this can be dreams coming true, but it also can come down to your psychology, your belief systems. There could be a confidence issue, there could be some apprehension, and there could be some closure points. But I would personally feel coming into this, any emotions that are going to come to a peak are going to give you a brand new beginning. The apprehension, however, could be very intuitive. It could be from an emotional point of view. You physically need to. There could be a lot of acceptance that does come up. But again, I would give it a few days during its transit. Now, we will get the shadow of Venus, regardless of what's written on the screen. And again, I would say mid-month we'll get that shadow. It does, yet again, as mentioned, further into the month go retrograde. Being prepared for that. Again, as we look at Venus retrograde, a few key tips I will give you is, yes, we can be looking at blasts from the past. You, as a personal level, you can be looking at how you feel about things because you are Leo. You can be feeling, am I caring for myself? Again, with both Venus transiting through your zodiac sign at a very personal level, it can be hair and makeup and dress and how people appreciate us, how we're showing up in the world. Your status, it could be going from single to couple, couple to single, how those things impacted you. If you're currently in a relationship, renegotiating those terms, which we will go deeper into your romance house shortly. I would leave anything that is of a permanent nature till it goes direct. If you wanted to color or cut your hair, I would try playing around with wigs. To have that experiment. It's a really good time to experiment. It's a really good time to look at your values. And I do particularly feel a lot of you are going to have this ability to make some dreams come true and to value yourself at a deeper level and to not underestimate yourself. But it's a revisit to self. What you like, who your friendship groups are, what you do in your pastime, what you feel your spiritual abilities are. And how all those connections are going. But again, it will come down to your romance house as well. Pluto last month was in your Venus house, which can boost your sacral chakra. It can boost your energy, chemistry, diving deep into those muddy waters, but also requiring you to have very deep, we were talking about it the other day in the members, plutonic relationships, but it's more the Plutonian, the deep, mysterious. You can be very attracted to these individuals. But I do believe that Pluto is going to help you really rework those connections at the moment with it shifting back into your sixth house. It's where you maybe are doing more than you need to, or it could be just in a bit of a kind of stagnation, flatline. These are times where you can give the relationship sector for you a bit of CPR, and it can recharge and bring romance into your life. It can bring new ways to do things and to be quite open-minded. Chiron moving retrograde with our nodes shifting is going to give us an opportunity to reflect upon our confidence. We may need to care more so for our wellness during its retrograde because it's almost that it can reduce our aura. And I would say if you're going into any heavy exercise routines, especially because it's Aries, which is Mars, I would directly do stretches, not to do anything daredevil, like especially with Venus retrograde. It's like, yeah, I'll just go on a ride because it's a retrograde. So things might not work effectively. There could be cross wires. I mean, only last month I typed into social media, into Google, to look at, okay, what foods were recalled, very Venus. What foods had ceased, because it's the Venus energy. And there was actually a whole list, and that was even before it went retrograde. So we can have these changes of value systems, but again, with Aries and Chiron retrograde, if you are struggling with the nodal shift, this is going to aid you to confront some of your fears, some of your insecurities. Now, Mars also being very Aries, the planet of war, assertion, it's like that go gadget legs. It gets us in and it gets things done. It will be in the house of Leo until we do reach, let me check back to the date. Does it have it here? I didn't write it down. Well, that's smart. By mid-month, it's moving into Virgo. Now, mid-month, as it does move into Virgo, the one thing I would say with Mars is it's going to help us, care for our wellness, B, I would say it's going to help us look at details more effectively and to take the emotion out of it. So I would say we can be quite driven. We want the detail, we want the evidence. And with intellectualism, we can be quite quick-witted. We can see things that we can act upon in a very unique way. And some of us, it could be, okay, well, we need to care for ourselves. We need to be assertive. Maybe we're burning out, and it's that self-awareness. With Mars moving into Virgo, this can be for you linking to your second house. It can be eating. It can be emotions, eating our pain, drinking our pain. But it also can be to do with wealth and confidence and courage and being vivacious in your emotion and more assertive. This can bring about it from a logical point of view of seeing your part and another person's part, but it is going to give you some confidence to get things done and to manifest new vibrations in. The nodal cycle for you, before we do get into your romance house, is going to be here for about 18 months. It can be a bit of a rude awakening. I do predict July is going to be quite a eye-opening month. More so because of the fact that it is Aries. It's going to be quite bold. We do have some T-squares. Look out for, I would say, anywhere from the 9th through to the 14th as a hot zone for that. I know there's probably more than likely other dates. I will update social media if I feel there's anything energetically that we need to look at. Yours links to your 9th house. Now, 9th house is Jupiter, so it can come in a myriad of ways, which I will try to discuss. Or, as I mentioned, feel free to come through, book a reading, and we can look at the direct area that you are dealing with and place more context into it. 9th house can be to do with travel. It can be to do with being connected to a person from a foreign culture. It can be short study, the bigger picture. It can be to do with religion, marriages, engagement, only because it's a 9th house. It's Jupiter energy. It's spiritual. It can be siblings, but it's the bigger picture. And I do feel this is to do with expansion. The other thing I'd also say is because we do currently have Jupiter in your 10th house, you are expanding your horizon. Okay, with who you are going to be, with what you're going to attract into your life. I do particularly feel if there were any wounds, you're going to have the ability to go into your subconscious mind and your belief systems to give yourself the courage to know that new beginnings can come. To do with how you are in the world, tall, short, etc. You're lovable, you're worthy. From marketing point of view, if this was to do with advertising, business, networking, studying, educating others, going to gurus, going to coaches, this can be a very positive time. And it's retrograde, especially if you are running a business. This can be a time that you're really reflecting upon how to grow that and how to move it forward. This also can be to do with the bigger picture, okay? What you're going to be moving away from, which is where you're really comfortable, is the 3rd house. And it can be a routine that you're currently doing. It can be a physical contract you've been in. It can be people that you've been interacting with or styles and approaches that you've been putting into situations. So be open-minded, especially with both the North Node moving and Jupiter with the signature of Taurus there. You can be expanding your horizons. Now, let's get into your romance house. Okay, romance for you can be beautiful. Some of you, if you can think back, be you single or coupled, even your attitude towards it. Now, we can look at romance, partnerships, contracts, the things you like doing, the Venusian energy. You probably may have found that things started to flow a little bit better, especially if you were dealing with an individual from the past and it was a bit tedious. You may have found that the intimacy and the vulnerability came back into the connection. Shadow work also might have come up. That is because Pluto was sitting in your Venus house. Pluto on the 11th last month shifted out, but Venus is getting ready to go retrograde. Venus also for you can make you feel like you don't know whether you're going forwards or backwards. And it's not a bad thing to meditate upon what your value system is. This can be moments for you of feeling unloved. This can be moments of feeling people misunderstand you. Understand how this can affect you and you can navigate the romantic sector better. Is this a good time to be dealing with individuals or within a relationship situations of the past? 100%. This is a renegotiation of your understanding of love and what your likes and dislikes are and what theirs are. From a feminine point of view, this can be where we are looking to care for ourselves more effectively, to invest in our emotions and have a deeper understanding of ourselves. From a masculine point of view, our style of relating also can be changing. Is this a good time to get married? I would say energetically, no, not until October. That would be the best time. Again, use your due diligence, do as it with you will. From research, I have found, and other astrologers have, is that it is a better time to deal with old individuals. If you are single, it can be blast from the past than starting a brand new. If you are meeting someone who's brand new, it's a time of investigation. And I think any of us that do go into a relationship should be really looking at it as such, not, signing on the dotted line, signing your life away. It's okay. Does this resonate with me? Is this feeling it fits who I am? Or am I being Play-Doh trying to be something for another person? How do we interact with each other? And it's not to say we have to be exactly the same. It's a better time to go slow into this and let it build and see what it brings on the other side of Venus direct. As to marriages, because there will be the conflict of we're going forward, we're going backwards, we're going over old ground. It can be a time of tension. So we are going to have to be more patient with people as well as with ourselves and understand that it can cause more conflict than usual. So again, being cautious with our communication style, digging deep, understanding, having patience with one another. Nothing that truly is stable can break. In a retrograde effect, also, I do particularly feel for you at a personal level. You can be reviewing these things. You have an ideal of what you're looking for in a relationship, and it's okay to have those feelings. Pardon me. If this can be renegotiated or looked upon with the current situation, as it goes direct, you're going to have a deeper understanding. But definitely, especially with Pluto in the house of Capricorn, lots of people from the past coming back. Any fallacies and false belief systems, I do feel, Leo, you could be actually working through. And it's really going to aid you if you have that self-awareness. So good luck with it. If you can delay any major investments in that, I would delay till it does go direct. It doesn't mean don't interact. It means pause. Pause, enjoy, investigate, and have some fun and go with the flow. Your career, big changes as mentioned. With the North Node moving into Aries, I wouldn't be surprised if last month a lot of you were reviewing this sector. Do I like my career? Is it resonating with me? Is it a bit too close to home? Do I need to go back and study? These subject matters will be coming up. You actually do have quite a bit of lady luck on your side. You could be taking on a more superior role. Some of you could have side hustles. Others of you, it can be that you are choosing to upskill or study or invest in a business. Again, if you are looking to change things, you are going to have a lot of networking that is possible. For some of you, I do, again, feel superior roles. There can also be, through your career sector, a lot more wealth being generated. And I do think some of you are really going to be moving quite quickly up the metaphorical ladder. If you did want to venture elsewhere, I would, during the retrograde, if you are working on a current project and say it's a side hustle, this would be a time over the next 3 to 4 months to really tidy it up, restructure it, look at what's working, look at what's not, and aid yourself to create that very firm foundation as it does go direct. I would say being cautious with how you're investing in it. Anything with analytics and career and business is all about what is working and what's not. And I really do particularly find that trends and value systems and feelings and what value you can offer to an individual tends to, in a Venus or a Mercury retrograde, be reflected upon. Lots of creative ideas, and some of you could be changing the face of your business or a location you're currently working or a position you're currently in. If you can get those contracts sorted prior to mid-month, that's really going to benefit you. After that, I would probably wait, mull those things out, go into negotiations, do some investigation, and then make a solid decision as it does go direct. Now, as to the wealth house, like I mentioned, through your career sector and your purpose in life, whatever you are moving towards, whatever is coming towards you in a sense of a path, wealth is going to follow you. You also um, can have this need all of a sudden to get quite grounded. Looking at your budget, is it something as simple as growing a garden or doing a budget, but savings plans? I do feel a lot of your income is directly going to come through two areas. One, it can be through your industry, your choice of employment. Two, knowing that you do have the power and shifting that situation about. You have more power than you know, especially from your chart. And three is as Mars moves into Virgo, I would say be very cautious, taking a critical eye on that area by mid-month. Where are the loose expenses going where you could generate that back in? Lady Luck definitely can be really giving you a lot of compliments. Also really making sure that your vessel is okay so that you're able to actually generate what you need to generate. But there can be some big questions about your future, big changes that can be making you anxious. Now, this wellness zone is really going to link into that. So, I really did for a Venus retrograde. I'm starting to create a hub online, YouTube, via the membership, which is going to be a mind, body, soul hub for the Venus energy. And I may offer it as a premium feature later on in the piece that is there as a separate membership. Now, what it's going to have involved is very much the mindfulness that during Venus retrograde, how to care for ourselves, checking in, raising our vibration, and doing those check-ins, being understanding of the astrology and knowing what's going to happen. Now, for you, both your 12th house, your 7th house, your first, and there's a lot to do with confidence, mind, body, soul, caring for yourself, prioritizing it, knowing that life is work, but life is play, and finding that equal harmony. Okay. Knowing that anything that is for you is always going to be almost magnetically attracted to you is going to shift you out of your way, because there can be some spiritual blockages. I would also say during a Venus retrograde, if you are a feminine, a masculine, care for your safety. Okay. That can be 101. I did notice over the years, whenever there's Venus retrograde, there can be missing people. There can be, perpetrators. It's caring for your safety, being aware of that. The other thing I would say is emotions. Emotions can be running high. How do we deal with those emotions to keep ourselves grounded? This can be really healthy to journal, but really healthy to have that self-awareness. So when it's happening, we can pull ourselves back, have that empathy and understanding, and get ourselves grounded. If anything feels off this month, get it checked, okay? Especially because we can look to, in astrology, Leo being the sun in a chakra point linking to the heart. Obviously, if anything feels off, always get it checked. We can have a lot to do with high heart chakra. So if people have that, really knowing to take extra care, use your due diligence, seeking a professional if it comes up. Love and light. I will see you next month for your star sign. If you do want to come through and have a booking where I directly can look at your chart and answer any of your personal questions, feel free. The information is directly below. I wish you the very best for this month. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other side.